Welcome to Stay Brainy, Stay Curious. Time for another series of challenging puzzles and riddles to jumpstart your IQ. Spend just 10 minutes with us every day and you'll learn all kinds of tips and tricks to solving clever conundrums. You might just become the smartest person in the room. Let's go! First up, the matchstick puzzle. You'll agree with me that 6 plus 4 does not equal 4. Your job is to find one matchstick that you can move to somewhere else in the equation to make it correct. You cannot take a matchstick away and you definitely cannot put one across the equal sign. Your timer starts now. I found two different ways to fix this equation. The first option is to take the middle matchstick from the 6 and shift it up vertically to make it turn into a 0. Now your equation reads 0 plus 4 equals 4, which is perfectly correct. Another option is to take the vertical matchstick from the plus sign and move it over to the 6 to make it an 8. Your new equation should read 8 minus 4 equals 4, which is also perfectly correct. Spot the difference. An easy puzzle, but quite beneficial for developing visual discrimination skills and strengthening your concentration abilities. So all you ADHD peeps out there, time to focus and find 5 differences. Here are the 5 differences. Did you spot them all? Back to something more stimulating for the brain. If spot the difference was too easy for you, hopefully this conundrum will make your brain work a little bit harder. Let's see, in this case, the numbers are small enough that you might have found the answer just by trial and error. I'm going to solve it the mathematical way, however, just for those who want to know the method to tackling these kind of equations. I'm gonna start with this middle equation. You could of course start with the first one, it really doesn't make a difference. I just picked the second one because I'm going to turn the minus into a plus and it's just easier to do addition, I guess. So I'm going to move negative dog from the left side of the equal sign to the right side of the equal sign. While doing this, I need to remember to turn the operation from negative to positive. Now we know that cat is equal to 10 plus dog. We can take that information and plug in for the cat in the first equation. This will give us 10 plus dog equals 20. That's 10 plus 2 dogs equals 20. Move 10 to the other side and we've got 2 dogs equals 20 minus 10. 2 dogs are equivalent to 10, which means that 1 dog is equal to 5. If 1 dog is equal to 5, we can deduce from the second equation that the cat is equal to 15. Now onto the actual equation that we need to solve. 15 divided by 5 equals 3. Solving riddles involves complex cognitive processes utilizing your frontal lobe for lateral thinking. This is very important as your brain learns to think outside the box instead of going for the obvious answer. So tell me, the more of it there is, the less you see. What is it? The answer is darkness. The darker it is, the less you'll be able to see. Time for another breather. This is a rebus, essentially a picture puzzle. Looking at the hints on the screen, can you deduce what country this is? I guess the toughest part was figuring out what the emoji stood for. It's meant to signify freeze, cause the poor guy looks pretty frozen. Then the Rebus tells us to substitute G for F, so Greece, and then substitute C for Z, which gives us the final answer of Greece, the birthplace of democracy, and Greek gods, and philosophy, and Olympics games, and... Next, we're going to work on your deductive reasoning skills, which is the core cognitive ability to apply rules to information in order to arrive at a logical conclusion. Looking at the figures below, can you find the odd one out? The answer is figure C because it is the only figure made up of 6 cubes as opposed to 5 cubes like all the other choices. We love a bit of tricky math over here at Stay Brainy, Stay Curious, and this one is good, I promise you. Looks super easy, right? Well, I'll bet most of you will get it wrong. Let's see how you did. If your answer is 1, you're completely wrong. I'm gonna tell you exactly why, but first, we need to quickly brush over the basic rules of math operations. I'm sure you know BIDMIS, also known as PEMDAS, which tells us to always solve math problems starting with parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication or division, and lastly addition or subtraction. And always work from left to right when you have the same level of math operations. So let's take a look at our equation. Your first instinct is going to be solving the second part first because you see the parentheses. And if you remember from high school, you know that if there are no math symbols before the parentheses, multiplication is implied. So naturally, you do 2 times 5 first, but that's where you went wrong. You see, the order of operations for the parentheses only refer to the operations inside said parentheses, but in our case, there is no operation, it's just a 5. Which means that this equation is basically 10 divided by 2 times 5. The parentheses in this case only indicate that the operation is multiplication, not its order. And because division and multiplication are of equal importance, we solve everything from left to right, starting with 10 divided by 2 first. That gives us 5, and then 5 times 5, that's 25, and that's the correct answer to this equation. Next up, let's test your logical thinking skills. Can you figure out what the code for the figure below is? The answer is GL. Let's prove it. If you look at the first and the third figure, what do they have in common? Letter F and the octagon. And if you compare the second and the third figure, do they have anything in common? They do indeed, the yellow convex polygon and letter M. So what we can deduce is that the smaller shape dictates what the first letter in the code is, and the big yellow shape dictates the second letter in the code. F seems to correspond with the octagon, G with the hexagon, L with the concave yellow polygon, and M with the convex yellow polygon. That means the code for our figure must be GL. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed becoming a genius. I hope you learned something new, I hope you had fun, and I hope you always stay brainy. See you again soon!